Okay, we're going to talk about inbound and outbound calling. This is both from outside lines, which would be your trunk lines or your PRI, and calling one another internally. To make an outside call, it's very simple. This is the icon phone. All you'll need to do is push a line key. If you can see, every one of you will have at least 2 or 3 line keys. Just push the line key, and you have outside dial tone. At that point, you can just dial your outside number. And there you go. Okay. Now most of you are familiar with probably dialing a 9. Dialing a 9 still does work if you wanted to dial 9. Just don't do it if you use your line key. If you're going to do the dial 9, you can press speaker or pick up your handset. Everything that I do on speaker, you can also do on your handset. I'm just doing it on speaker so that you can hear the different sounds that you can expect your phone to make and that they'll seem a little bit more familiar to you. So if you wanted to use your dial 9, you would hit your speaker, pick up your handset, dial 9. You can hear this difference in the sound of that dial tone. Now you're set to dial your outside number. So again, one or the other. Do not push your line key and dial 9. Either push your line key or dial 9. So that's making an outside call. Now receiving an outside call, when a call comes in from an outside line, your phone is going to ring, your line key will blink green, and just pick up your handset and talk to the person. Pretty simple. So that's your outside lines, making and receiving calls. Internally, it's almost the same, but you do have a couple more options. If your phone has a button, these are your programmable keys, and if your phone has a key for somebody else on it, like I have a phone for Natalie over here, I have a little button on my phone that says Natalie. If I push that key, her phone is going to ring and tell her she's got a call from Kay. At that point, she'll pick up her handset and we'll be talking. If I don't have a button for that person, I just need to make sure and dial their extension number. So again, I'm going to press my speaker key, and I'm going to dial, she's extension 210, 210. Again, her phone rings, tells her into her display who is calling her, and she'll have to go ahead and pick up her handset and talk to me. So that is making an intercom call. Where your options come in is going to be in receiving an intercom call. Right now we have the phones ringing. That requires you to physically pick up the handset to answer that call. You can choose to have your phone set to hands-free. Hands-free means if somebody calls you, your speaker is going to open up and you just turn your head towards your phone and talk into your phone. In order to turn on hands-free, you're going to use your feature key. Every phone has a feature key. This feature key is right here above the number pad. Here on the smaller phone, you've got a feature key right underneath the display. So if I want my phone to be hands-free on my phone with the handset in the cradle and the phone idle, I'm going to hit feature and then dial 65. Now nothing changed on my phone. There's no visual display that I'm in hands-free mode. But when somebody calls me, and if I go ahead and call 210, now, where's my speaker? I'm automatically hands-free. I did not have to pick up my handset. I just have to turn my head towards my phone and talk to the person who's calling me. My display does still tell me who is on the phone with me. There is, if you listen, there is a tone burst before the person calls. So you never have to worry about the fact that somebody might secretly be listening to you. There is an indication that somebody's buzzing into your office. Then your speaker will open up and you'll be able to talk hands-free. So that's making and receiving both external calls and internal calls from one another in the business. The next thing we want to talk about is transferring calls to somebody else. Now if you've got an outside caller on the line and you have a key for somebody, a transfer is very, very simple. While I'm talking to my caller, I'm going to tell them to hold on, but I'm not going to put them on hold. I'm going to say, hold on a second please, and then I'm just going to push the key for the person, in this case Natalie, where I want that phone to go. That call to go. As soon as I do that, this caller is placed on a temporary hold. My line key will start to blink, and I'll show you how that looks in just a second, and they will not be able to hear me. I am going to buzz through to Natalie just like a regular intercom call, which means if she has her phone set to ring, it will ring. If she has it set to hands-free, it will be hands-free. At that point, I can announce that call and say, hey, I've got John on the phone for you. Did you want to speak to him? Or I can simply hang up to complete that transfer. And I'll show you what that looks like. Well, I have my outside caller on the phone. Gotta wait for it to answer. Okay, I'm just going to tell them, hold on a second, please. And then I'm going to press Natalie's key. I'm going to buzz through to her like a regular intercom call. Hi, Natalie, I've got a call from John for you. Did you want to take that? She says yes. All I'm going to do is hang up my handset, and her phone starts to ring with the new call. At that point, she can answer the phone. Outside lines are always going to ring your phone, even if you have your phone set to hands-free. You will never, ever, ever have an outside line that just all of a sudden bursts in on you on intercom. That will only happen if somebody inside the organization is calling you. Now, if I don't have a key for somebody, transferring is very, very similar. While I have the outside caller, instead of just pushing the key, though it does take a couple of extra steps, I tell the caller to hold on a second, please. And at that point, I do have to use my fixed transfer key. My transfer key is right here. I'm going to hit transfer, and again, as soon as I hit transfer, the caller can no longer hear me. If you have music on hold enabled, they'll hear your music on hold. If not, they'll just hear silence. Once I hit transfer, then I have to dial the extension number of the person where I want the phone to go. In this case, it would be transfer to 210. At that point, it's going to behave exactly as it did when we just showed you with the one-button transfer. I can either announce that caller, and they can choose to take that call or not, or I can just hang up, and that call will go through unannounced. All right, that's